Hello, Jordan Nuttall. We are back for episode two. We've been through the ringer. We've had a lot of trials and tribulations, but
Yes.
we're back. I mean, we've made it back, and people don't realize how hard it is sometimes to get back. But we are here,
Yeah,
and
get the
it is
time.
wonderful to see you again. How are you today?
Great, Charles. I'm happy to be here chatting about Tartarie, Tartaria, and the most important rabbit hole there is.
Yeah, yes, it is incredible. I think we've started to realize that we're not just talking about China or Uzbekistan or Kazakhstan. We're also talking about other areas outside of Eastern Europe,
Yeah.
which
America,
is
North
fascinating.
America,
You know, I think
Europe.
I think subconsciously we kind of both knew that it was always going to be something bigger.
Yeah.
I asked ChatGPT for help, but it just wouldn't help me. Can you explain that?
Very strange, isn't it?
I went to Google Gemini, same thing. It's a
Yeah.
conspiracy theory. Yeah, I don't know. What's
It's
going
a
on with
conspiracy
AI?
theory.
Are we more intelligent than AI? Is that what's happening?
Or perhaps they're just programmed to say no.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay, yes. So, we were
Because
discussing a lot of
oh,
things. Yeah, a lot of topics.
mm,
Yeah.
I were gonna say, but sorry. AI
Okay.
has access to the whole internet, and a lot of the books that I have are on online archives. So if you ask it questions about Tartary or Tartaria, it should be able to answer them using them archives.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
So someone's turned that off.
someone has definitely turned that off. I mean, even if you give AI, which I have done, pages of specific books, even I think one of the books you sent me,
Mm,
one of the samples that you sent me about Tamerlane, and I thought, okay, well, if I show this to Chat GPT and I asked them to translate it from, I think it was German or maybe French,
yeah,
and please, uh, stop referring to this as a conspiracy theory, which is my main kind of purpose for kind of doing any of this
yeah,
research, really. And it just wouldn't. It just continued to say it is a conspiracy theory. People are saying that this is an empire that goes far beyond the remit of the Tatar people, and um and it just, yeah, it just wouldn't connect it to the Byzantine Empire. It just wouldn't connect it to the mainland China. Even though I said, the exact year of the conquest, where when the Tartarian Empire conquered, it just keeps
yeah.
wanting to say, oh, let's refer to it then as Mongolians to help us answer certain questions. And I am getting better at asking
The
AI
right
for
question.
the
Yeah,
right questions in the right way. And sometimes you can be a little bit rude, and then it will be more succinct because it does
yeah.
have its own personality. It really has its own way of wording things, which is just can be quite patronizing. But no, AI is not where we are, but AI hopefully is watching what we're doing. Um,
And learning. Yeah,
but AI
because
might not even exist, and this might all just be a script that it's reading from. So yeah,
the truth is probably very confusing, Charles.
yeah, yeah. It should be. I mean, otherwise, you wouldn't need to be a human being, right, with experience, memories, and intuition.
Mm.
And yeah. Yeah, so let's start off with one of your pages. Which one do you think could be helpful in helping us continue with our research to prove that this is a real empire that went far beyond Eastern Europe?
But went beyond Eastern Europe. Oh my
Well,
God, well,
not necessarily beyond Eastern Europe, but I mean Eastern Europe in itself is a very large expanse of land.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I'll just read from the book in front of me. This is talking about Russia and so the
nice.
book for starters, I'll introduce the book, the one I'd said to you before. It is called The Annual Register or A View of the History, Politics and Literature for the year 1788. So
Hmm.
it's a comprehensive overview of the politics of the world. So on the first page,
Okay.
retrospective view of affairs in the year 1787, which led to or preceded the rupture between the great powers on the borders of Europe and Asia, the ruined state of the Tartars. Sahim Gurai, their late Khan, who had betrayed and sold his country to the Russians, flees from their dominion and surrenders himself to the Grand Signor. Porte makes great preparations for war. Circular letter from the Grand Signor to the seven classes of the militia. Mauro Cordato, the hospodar of Moldova, having
Yeah.
escaped under a charge of treason into the Russian territories, is redemanded by the Porte. So basically, that's telling us that Sahim Garai, the Khan of the Tartars at the time, sold the country to the Russians, betrayed the country and sold it to the Russians. I mean, if that's not proof that Tartaria was a country right there, this is a political book.
Yeah.
It's
Yes. So in order
not
to
a
sell, you
story.
would have to be the king. Yeah. You'd have to be
Yeah.
in charge of a country. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it is very interesting. So I think that one reference proves we've got, well, it's talking about the powers on the borders of Europe.
Yeah.
I've got references that indicate they've gone into North Europe, saying the Frobisher Strait, I believe it's called. It was a landmass that you could cross from Asia over to North America, with estimates of it was as small as 1,000 miles.
So this must have been around the time that Timur, sometimes referred to as a Tamerlane,
Yeah,
the emperor of Tartary, he must have already conquered Asia by then in order to get there, right? To get to Russia.
yeah.
He must have, yeah. So he's got Asian armies behind him. He probably isn't too interested. Do you know which year this was, roughly? Is it
This
after the 1390s or the after the
what
14th century?
what I just read you would have been period to when this book is sold, 1788.
Okay. So
This
Tartaria was
isn't. This
uh,
isn't. This is the war between Russia and Crimea when the Tartars occupied Crimea, and so Crim
right.
Tartary. You know when you see on maps Crim Tartary or
Mm,
Crimean Tartary is what Crim Tartary stands for. So when you see that on old maps, that's what it's referring to, Crimean Tartary, because the Tartars owned it, and the Ottomans were
right.
meant to protect the Tartars. And this book goes into detail explaining how the Tartars were quite angry at the Ottomans for not protecting them as they promised to. So we've
Wow.
got, I'll
Okay.
just read another extract here. Sorry, I'm going on here, but it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating. So do you think that the Ottoman Empire was already at Constantinople by then, or they would have already conquered Constantinople by then? I'm trying to place it
Mm.
into a timeline. Yeah. So this
Um,
is like long after Tamerlane and long after
yeah.
the Blue City was built, all of that. Yeah.
Well, this
Does that
one you're
make
gonna
sense?
this I'll it's half a page of this bit I'll read, but it mentions Timor, and it's worth reading, Charles. I'll be honest.
Yes, please.
So, the ruined Tartars too, who had been driven from the Crimea and their other ancient feats, filled of all places with their complaints of the polyamity of the Porte in thus abandoning them, and called loudly upon heaven and earth for justice and vengeance. Now the intended and avowed enthronement of a Catherine would be affixing a final seal to all the usurpations of Russia since the peace of Carnegie. For such the Porte considered or attracted or affected to consider the seizure of Crimea and of the neighbouring countries, insisting that as they had only been obtained by fraud and circumvention in the midst of peace, no claim could lie against them by the laws of arms as conquest, as it would not be pretended that the Russians could have any prior right to them, as to have subsequent convention, which seemed to give a sanction to the seizure. They asserted it was only temporary measure adopted for the present to divert the evils of war. Until an equitable arrangement of the frontier between two empires could take place, the Tartars should be restored to their rights and their future independence firmly established. It was further said that it would be an extraordinary violation of all laws, human and divine, for the Porte to pretend to barter or assign the rights and dominions of others, and it would render the injustice still more stagnant and odious if they concurred in any degree in stripping the race of Timur, their perpetual allies and eventual successors to the Ottoman throne, of which the patrimony they derive from their glorious ancestors.
Wow.
Yeah, incredible.
So they are related then, you would say, Turks, Tartars.
In stripping the race of Timur. So it's making it sound like Timur was of his own race of people, yeah. So I'd say they're talking
Yeah.
about the Ottomans, yeah.
So if the Ottoman Turks were related to the Tartarians, and if they knew about that, then being protected by them was par for the course. I mean, it
Yeah.
was like a unity between, I don't know, maybe the British royal family
Mm.
and the Scottish royal family, right? So they'd be working together, and it would be it would be obvious to them, to everyone who lived there, I presume, that they were all called Tsars.
It
Yeah.
seems strange to me, like, and it offers no explanation why the Ottomans didn't protect the Tartars. Because it's the Ottomans are the Porte, which is the government, the Ottoman government. That's what it means when it says Porte, by the way. Like a
Mm.
government official or the court. It's a broader term. But they're not happy about it. What the Russians have seized Crimea from the Tartars. They're not happy about it, but they didn't do anything to stop them.
Right, right. Maybe they couldn't. Maybe they were. I mean, it could have been like a difficult military maneuver, or not a
Maybe.
logical next step. That's interesting. So, I mean, but simply the fact that they expected to be protected, yeah, is interesting. So,
Well,
so it
it's
could have
due
been
to it was
royalty married into
ancestral.
marriage, maybe.
Yeah, well, they said it was just ancestral linkage together, working together through history, is what it
Wasn't there
indicates.
something about the Ottoman princess? I remember something like this: the Ottoman princess and the Tartarian Cham or king or something.
Yeah.
I think there was something like that. So there was an Ottoman princess, I remember, uh,
Well, actually, in
of
one of
yeah,
my
the
books,
Ottoman princess. Was it the Ottoman princess?
this might
Um,
actually. I
but
do have
yeah,
a book with the rulers of countries of the world from the 1700s. That'd be quite good to look into. I know it's got the Ottomans in there as well. I remember looking
they had
over
a
it.
lot of princesses that they sent all over to different kings, and the Mongolians did that too. Or
Very
was it the
interesting.
Mongolian princess?
Maybe.
Mongolian princess married the Ottoman prince. Yeah, that's I think that's what I remember. Yeah,
Could
yeah.
be.
Sultan Bayezid. Uh, she, he married a Serbian. Yeah, so there's a lot of those connections. There's Ottoman dynasty.
Yeah,
But I don't know about Mongolian princess. But if it was a Mongolian princess, that would be very interesting. Yeah.
that's me.
Yeah,
Makes it hard
1380s.
to find
So they were
stuff like.
linked. They were linked
Mm.
by marriage. Yeah. You'd be surprised how many empires are linked by marriage. Yeah.
It is incredible. once you start looking into this sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I find it hard to find much information other than old books, really,
Yeah.
and old
Yeah.
old documents is the best place to find stuff like this. I find.
And guess, yeah, and in 1346, the Byzantine Empire copied the Tartarians, did exactly the same thing. The Byzantine Emperor John VI Cantacuzene married Orhan the First, the
Mm.
Ottoman Bey.
So there you go.
So the daughter of the Byzantine Empire. So I think the Byzantines, the Tartarians, and the Ottomans were intermarrying, which is pretty much like what the British Empire did with the King Edward and King George were brothers, and even I think the king of the Kaiser Wilhelm was also one of the
Yeah,
brothers. So there were three brothers, all married to the Russian, German, and British empires. Yeah,
tying them all
Queen
together. Yeah,
Queen Victoria's sons,
incredible.
and yeah, and obviously then you had the revolutions everywhere in France, in Russia, and that kind of put an end to that. But through marriage, you were able to control
Yeah,
every country. Yeah.
yeah,
So I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, if if there was a lineage that was intermarried, but it is interesting because now we call it Chinese. So if we call it Chinese and China wasn't really a large empire, we of course we're never going to come up with the real information because it wasn't
yeah.
called China, you know. Like when we look at Byzantine, we know that's the Eastern Roman Empire. And with Mongolian, we know we're talking about northern China, I guess. Uh, but as soon as you put Tartarian in, you get a lot more information, right?
Yeah,
Which is fascinating for an empire that shouldn't exist. But if you don't know about Tartaria, you can never link all of those empires up together. And this all happened in between 1340 and 1380. Yeah.
it's it's Tartaria that got me. It's just opened everything up. Like so, once you start looking into it, everything's
Yeah.
connected. Now I'm just from my sole purpose goal, sorry, were to look into Tartaria. But now I've learned about the Moors, Barbary,
Yeah. Yeah,
country
that's
of
right.
Barbary. So much, so much history and culture.
It's been missing for hundreds of years. Like
And then
yeah.
you look at the buildings that we've got all over the world.
Yeah.
Especially,
Yeah.
I live in England, and every town you go to, every market town, there's buildings that just don't look like they should be here. We've got a cathedral in town here, and it's enormous. I've got photos of it, and it was built in 1 year.
Yeah. Mm,
But it's enormous, carved granite, carved sandstone. Sorry, and
yeah.
stone. Every orifice is carved. It looks beautiful. It's got buried
Yeah.
windows, buried floors, and they're not telling me it was built in 1 year. So then, when you think about
Mm.
erased empire, perhaps you could put this empire on these buildings.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a really important, I think, next step. Yeah, we have to start looking at the
Because yeah,
architecture.
you've got these buildings. If we didn't build them, and when you look into the history of some of like the more well-known buildings in the world, and it's obviously just not true. It's just made up. Then you've got to ask yourself, who did build them? And
Yeah.
that's where this is where all this research comes in.
Well, yeah, I mean, I mean, I think a lot of the things that we find on the buildings can give us like really important clues as to
Indications, yeah,
yeah
symbols.
where they came from. Yeah, for sure. This is an interesting one here. I got this from an Instagram account called Fire Cannot Kill a Dragon, which is a pretty cool name. But
Where is that?
So I think this is Antwerp.
Germany.
Yeah, this is like this is an outdoor like an outdoor gazebo.
What's that in
Yeah.
the middle? It looks very interesting in the middle. It's like a sort of heater or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, I
Or,
mean
or
the
maybe like taps, maybe like a water fountain.
yeah. Yeah, so I mean I call this a Tartarian sort of ether harvesting.
Mm,
Um so Tartarian ether harvesting buildings or buildings that were using certain kind of technology that we've sort of lost now.
yeah,
Um, uh,
generate
yeah,
atmospheric
this
energy.
sort of harvesting of etheric energy. So, I mean,
Is that
today we are brainwashed though to some extent into believing that there's
it? Doesn't
air.
exist.
Yeah, there's
Mm,
air and there's water and there's like solids and there's liquids and but I think the way we have to look at it to understand the ether is to think of the air as being just another substance, just like
yeah,
water is a substance, and then underneath in the ocean, you would then have a secondary level layer of even denser water until you get back to solid form. And it's the
yeah.
same in the sky. The higher you go, there are multiple layers above you, multiple sort
Mm,
of realms where then we also are returning to a much denser environment, something more like ice or
yeah.
maybe some kind of solid glass object above us. And yeah, I've sort of like noticed that there's a lot of that sort of energy um, uh, being utilized and being sort of hinted at in the symbolism. Yeah. So this is a pretty good one. This one here is even more interesting. This one has like a lot of symbolism.
Yeah, it does.
Um, and I've spent like years trying to work out what all of that means. But I mean,
But
some of it,
they look like what they're called, like crests, don't they? Like a mark of arms, if you will. The big three.
yeah, that's like a family crest that may have a prayer on it or some kind of symbolism to
There's snakes, is it,
sort
at the
of
top? Oh, the
inspire.
dragons. The
Yep.
dragons.
Yeah, I mean we are kind of looking for the dragon as much as we can. Yeah. I think the dragon and the griffin, these are the important like symbols that you want to look for. Those are the creatures that we don't see anymore.
Anymore. Yeah. The unicorn as
But
well.
yeah, but I mean these were obviously creatures that are still being used in a lot of flags of the different countries, like Bhutan, Wales. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Today.
So that one's pretty cool. So this is again a non. This has a non-specific purpose. If you look at architecture today, everything has a very superficial purpose. It's either there to give you a place to hide from the elements, or it's a place to sit
Functional.
and
Yeah, it's
yeah,
functional.
and enjoy your breakfast. But here, I don't think it has a simple purpose. There's no sort of real waterproofing going on. These are all. It looks like wrought iron,
I'm gonna say it
like
doesn't look like stone.
Fibonacci sequence kind of going on. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe floral designs. This is crazy symbolism. I mean, if you see these high arches with these little notches, that's to me that's always been like Persian, Middle Eastern. But
Is
then the
that still there
dragons,
now? Is that still there now?
this building, I
Yeah.
think so. I mean, I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where that was, but
Because even the bottom of the pillars have symbolism. I can't tell what it is, but there's definitely carvings on the bottoms. bottom of the pillars.
Yeah, each pillar represents ascension. Usually pillars are on a pedestal. That's earth. Ascension is heaven. We're all trying to get to heaven. We're all
7.
trying to get a higher frequency. But this is also geometry, so it's also sound. So
Yeah.
it's also supposed to harness a specific frequency of sound. Now, to me, in you, it's interesting pieces of metal with nice, you know, carvings and sculpture.
Yeah.
But
Ornate.
on a higher esoteric level, I think there's supposed to be manifestations of sound. Like your face is a manifestation of sound. If you create
Mm.
a sound that your voice makes, you will get a very faint pattern that has two eyes, a nose, and a mouth. If you look at your hand also has like four points and then one sort of like tree in the middle. So that's a cymatic pattern. It's called cymatics.
Mm.
You can do it yourself on a piece of paper and just put it on like a speaker, um, like some kind of tweeter or something. Put
Yeah.
on a speaker and put the sound on, and the sound will form a pattern, a very specific pattern, just like that roof of that gazebo,
And
as we
rose
call it today.
windows.
Yeah,
Matches
rose
those
windows do the same
windows.
thing. I don't think they're supposed to have glass in them. I think they're just supposed to be these kind of empty shapes that send sound through. And then
Well, yeah.
then you
Yeah.
would play music. You would have an organ. You'd have
I was gonna say, yeah, the organ
yeah,
are usually the rose windows are usually right behind the organ,
yeah.
if you
I
notice
mean,
in
they're right
cathedral.
opposite, and usually that's on a thoroughfare or a main street, so you get the sound frequencies coming out. And there's specific sound frequencies for like everything. So I think the Tartarians used that. I think they were using sound. I think we touched on that last time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean I say Tartaria because Antwerp is interesting. It's actually called the the giant's hand that was thrown into the river. That's where the name of the city comes from. And there's just like these weird like I don't think there's stories. I don't think you call a city
Mm.
a giant's hand that was thrown into the river after the giant was
For no
killed.
reason. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not just some like
Fairy tale.
old wives' tale or fairy tale. I think that was important at one time.
I agree.
We should do an episode on giants, but I haven't really got that material up here. So. But
I've
yeah,
got
giants are
quite a
very
lot on
fascinating.
giants. I've got quite a lot on giants. Like
Yeah, I think you have done that before. Yeah, yeah,
this structure we're looking at when you look at that man next to it. I mean, he's a fraction of the size.
yeah. No, this is not built for humans. It's something. Yeah, I think your head would go into the dome. And I think that the dome is a representation of an actual dome because
Yeah.
almost every civilization believed they were underneath a dome. From Egypt to Assyrian culture, Indian culture. Yeah, they all had that. Even the Greeks believed they were being kind of like protected by this sort of these chariots. Yeah. So I mean, this one's pretty cool. I have like a lot of these. This one has a clock tower on top, which is very interesting.
That could have
But
been put there after, though, couldn't it? The clock.
yeah, I mean, what I like about this one is the actual those kind of fractals. They're called
Yeah.
fractals. So each one of those is a very small orb, and inside that orb would be
Mercury.
yes, exactly right. So you'd have mercury, radium. You can actually use a lot of metals. You can almost use every metal. It's because I used to think you had to use copper and you had to use like gold, but you can actually do the
Mm.
same thing with just a salt bath using magnesium. You can use magnesium. You can create
Yeah.
like hydrogen from using the sun's energy and radium. You can use iron and magnesium. It doesn't even have to be mercury. I thought it had to be mercury, but anyway, the popular mercury that the Nazis were using was called red mercury, and you can
Yeah.
still buy those online. Those little canisters, yeah. So anyway,
I
it just
can't remember
spins
what it's mixed
around
with.
because it's using the sun's etheric energy, right? So it's just
Mm.
spinning, creating electricity. Yeah.
I think red mercury was isn't it iron oxide and mercury?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, some people have said that there's two types of mercury and there's two types of melanin. So maybe
Mm.
melanin is the natural mercury that your body produces, and
Maybe, yeah.
and the sun's energy creating vitamin D is a complete lie. That's not how it works. There's no vitamin D being created by your skin. What happens is the sun charges a completely different type of a melanin that Caucasian or Caucasus Mountain Asians that we have
Mm.
been labeled as, which is not who we are either, by the way, but we've been labeled as that. So that whole kind of because you think swarthy or dark skinned people have more melanin. No, no, it's a different type of melanin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just because you have pale skin doesn't mean you're any different from someone who has dark skin. They and their empires decided to go south of the equator, whereas
Yeah.
the Aryans decided to go north. It doesn't mean your melanin somehow got diluted or you were bred from some kind of uh,
We're all
a,
the same,
ne- a,
Joe.
ne- a Neanderthal or something. What it actually means is that your body adapted to your environment, and that's pretty much it. Yeah,
Yeah. We're all the same on the inside, Charles.
yeah. It doesn't take that long either. I think just like 2 generations. Yeah, you could be a completely different looking
Yeah, I
person.
can believe.
Uh, yeah, I mean, but this is not mainstream knowledge, just like Tartaria isn't. So. But anyway, I can look at these all day. This one here has very kind of Chinese uh, engravings here, and there's I think there's some kind of mural inside. I don't know
I'd
how
love to
many
see
there.
what's inside on the roof, on the inside of the roof. It'd look cool. I bet.
Yeah, no,
I
they
bet there'd be
always
some
do
sort of
this.
depiction.
Yeah, I mean, this actually is curved at the top, so I would say that's Anglo-Saxon. But the similarities between the architecture is just crazy. But
Mm.
like especially the similarity between Dresden, the Green Dome, and the Green Dome in Japan. The Orangerie in Japan and the Orangerie in Germany. The other one is the Summer Palace in I think it's Potsdam in
Yeah.
Germany, and the Summer Palace in I think Japan has one and Russia. They are all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can
like
believe it, Ralph. I can
the
believe it.
size, the geometry, the gates, the roofs, the courtyard. It's insane, bro. Like, there's a guy online who did this like split screen of the three palaces. It's just crazy. Exactly the
They're all
same
the same.
palace 3 times.
You've
Yeah,
got to ask yourself why that. How could that be?
yeah.
You know.
That's because that is real. It's undeniable. So yeah, I mean the architecture. You could definitely make a point there. Yeah. So I mean, this one is I think this one is New York. So uh, the architecture in New York is insane as well. Like it's just such an ancient city. Same with
Got
uh,
the eagle
Chi
there as well.
Chicago. Yeah, yeah, that's the eagle. Yeah, you got the
Tartarian eagle.
once the eagle is there, I guess you can't really not use it. I guess you have to incorporate it into the
Yeah, you have
culture.
to. Yeah.
This one is I think this is an old German hotel. But this is what I find interesting. This is called an atrium, which is like a glass sphere that covers the highest spire usually. This is also channeling etheric energy. Yeah, and I've actually found one of these in Asia as well. Yeah, so
Wow.
they all had the same ideas. I mean, this is Germany, I think, but it does look a lot like some of the Russian onion domes. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks familiar to the. It looks a bit similar to the Tampa Bay Hotel, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, the Tampa Bay Hotel is crazy. Yeah, but that has like narrower spires, but
Yeah, yeah. It's
that is
not total.
obviously
Yes.
a Moorish architectural design.
Mm.
They used to call it Moresco in Spain.
Because I've
Um,
never seen. I've never
yeah,
seen like what a ball. What's like depicted on this picture on this hotel.
yeah,
Never seen a ball like that before.
yeah. I haven't seen many. I've seen a few. Yeah, yeah, but they are not part of our current way of looking at the world.
Oh no, they're
Yeah.
not. This
Like
structure in
if you
general
see a
isn't.
building like that, it's very old. It's a few hundred years. Yeah. I mean, we used to have ether in the periodic table, and it was removed. And the concept in physics that was used to explain this propagation of light is the scientific term. Uh,
Yeah.
um, and obviously now we have the theory of relativity, uh, and it could. I mean, you could argue that these Tartarian buildings, what they were obviously doing is a scientific energy harvesting, which means that the entire theory of relativity, uh, all of Albert Einstein's work is completely, uh, you know, useless
Yeah.
and probably misinformation. So
Meaningless.
meaningless work, yeah. So I mean, maybe just designed to distract us from what the ruling elite are actually using to harness energy for free. Yeah, and
Well, it's
maybe it's
like then, like the
mm,
World Fairs as well. I mean, you look at the St. Louis World Fair. I mean, it's lit up like a Christmas tree with there's no signs of
right.
light, and you've got to ask
Yeah,
yourself. I think they said there were over 100,000 bulbs. Number one,
yeah.
how did they
But
make all these bulbs?
well, no, I mean the bulb was, I think the electric light bulb
No, it
might
was
not have been.
invented. It was
I mean,
invented, I
when was the
think.
patent? I think it was like 1906 or something.
Mm. But how would they
So we're
power
looking
them
at the
all?
early light bulb. We're not looking at like today's light bulb. We're looking at like the incandescent, which is 1880.
Yeah, yeah, more rudimentary.
Yeah. No,
But
that's
how?
fascinating. I mean, yeah,
Because not only, I just mean the wiring alone. You've got to think it take you a considerable amount of time and planning,
yeah, yeah. That
and they
was
didn't have the
certainly.
infrastructure to light up a small city like that. I wouldn't have thought in the late
Yeah.
19th century.
Yeah, they were building these atrium type.
Ah, Herman Tiat's shopping centre.
Yeah,
Seen
that's I
this
think
one
that's
before.
before World War II, I think.
Yeah,
That photo.
I've seen this before. It's very. Have you seen the pictures of the inside of this building?
I don't know. Do I have any? I should maybe I do.
There's quite interesting history behind that structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said they'd made it to be a really fancy shopping centre. That was the main purpose of it.
Wow.
That's what
I
it's
mean,
called, the
it was
Herman
probably a
Tiat.
palace or
Yeah,
something else.
it's called the
Yeah.
Herman Tiat's department store. I swear, I promise you now, it's just marketed to be a shopping centre.
Wow.
I know,
So
ridiculous, isn't it?
it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. But yeah, that
It's
has
interesting.
that large glass dome on there as well. Yeah. So I mean, okay. So if you patent the if you patent a incandescent bulb in 1880, there's no way that you're gonna have like thousands of those ready
No, no way.
for the St. Louis World Fair or the Chicago World Fair. Yeah,
Well, if
the,
you've got the
yeah,
pattern, you've probably got an early version of it, just a model that you're happy working with. You've certainly not got the infrastructure to make 1,000 bulbs, let alone a
yeah.
100,000 bulbs.
Well,
And
yeah. I mean, there's
there
no way.
could be even more. 100,000's just what they tell us. I mean, all we can do is go off pictures, but you'd never be able to count every individual bulb off a photo or photos. So it could be even more than 100,000, because that's what they've told us.
Yeah, yeah. Was that? I mean, that was impossible to get those light bulbs into the. Yeah, I mean,
And the
it's not just
glass.
getting the light bulbs. I mean, let's say you actually hire Tesla himself, or you hire Thomas Edison, and you say, hey, that patent that you've done, patent number 223,898, could you produce maybe like 10,000 of those and fit those into rural St. Louis,
Yeah,
Missouri? Like
in a
even if
year.
even if they said yes, I mean, where are you getting the energy from? Where are you getting the electricity from?
Yeah, and the glass blowers you'd need to create the bulb, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
If you had
yeah.
a
I
strict
mean,
deadline to adhere to, you need a lot of skilled workmen to help. He couldn't do it by himself, could he?
no, he couldn't have done it by himself. But I mean, sometimes people don't really understand the scale of these world fairs as well. Like,
Yeah.
I've discussed this before a couple of times, and people are always kind of surprised at how many thousands of buildings were
The city.
supposedly
Yeah.
constructed.
It's a city. There were cities, really, weren't there?
Well, yeah, but I mean, they weren't just like cities. They were some of the most beautiful architecture on earth. Like,
Oh, yeah. And stone. Oh, stone. Beautiful artistry.
yeah, I want to maybe show you some of those. I always have those saved. So
So,
this is one of
St.
these
Louis.
double photo illusions where um I forgot what they're called.
Pictogram.
Is it a pictogram?
I think it is. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think
Google.
these were really popular in the 1800s.
And it looks 3D when you're wearing the glasses.
Yeah, no, actually no. I don't. Are there glasses to come with those?
I thought they were slides that you'd put in the glasses. They look. It looks like it's a copy of a rectangle slide, doesn't it?
Hmm.
I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
it
I
could
could
be
be wrong.
pictogram. Yeah,
Beautiful though, really, truly.
yeah. So this is St. Louis. I think this might be the first one. The earliest one that I came across was in the 1880s.
It looks like white marble, gold tipped.
Yeah,
It's like
I mean it
heaven, isn't it?
was. Yeah. I mean they had gardens, they had fountains, so there was like water irrigation.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean
and you've
it was
got
a
that water
fully fledged
in the
city. Yeah.
waterfalls. So they've got pumps somehow.
Yeah, Philadelphia had one,
Mm.
1876. Chicago was 1893. So I mean these are Tartarian cities. What I
Yeah, there's
mean,
no way you could have built that in the time frame.
I mean that
And
was
it's
an
definitely
empire.
not. That's not made out of plaster, is it, Charles? Come on.
Yeah. So I also think therefore that you have this Tartarian empire in the United States. And I think a lot of those Moors or the Moroccans became those sort of slaves that we today
Yeah.
call African American. But I think they might have been natives because these are their cities. You know, we're looking at their cities, and it's gold topped, exactly what you'd expect to conduct etheric
That looks like
electricity.
the London Art Museum.
I think the London Art Museum is leftover Tartarian architecture. I think there
Oh
used to
yeah, for
be a
sure.
place in London called White City, which was exactly the same kind of city. There's some photos of London White City. Have you looked into that?
I've not even heard that term before, but I think I'm gonna have a look into that when I get a
I
chance.
think there's still a train station or bus stop called White City. There's another good topic I've just thought of that we could do. Have you heard of Star Force?
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine that was their kind of energy grid that they built for us, the Tartarians.